Okay, when looking at education in relation to curriculum, and we are in curriculum, we are always saying that you cannot have education without curriculum, or curriculum when you are not having education. So in education, in relation to education and learning, would not draw conclusion that because people have not been seen in a classroom, so they are not educated, and that because people have not carried books and they cannot write or cannot read, so they are not educated. So such a conclusion is limited and it is out of short sight in relation to curriculum and education, because education is not about reading and writing. It is not about speaking the English language and being able to articulate it. So education has always lived, and as much as curriculum has lived. Because when you dig into the detail of the meaning of education in relation to its etymology, which is originality, education comes from the Greek word educere, okay, educere, which means to, what's the meaning of educere? Educere means to bring out, which is connected to the word educare, which is bring up and bring out. So education also means to lead. Educere is also interpreted as to lead, which means to drive somebody and guide somebody to a particular direction or a way of living. And this process cannot happen unless there is a preparation which has other people have undergone. Either people have content to guide that, to bring out what the value out inside the person and grow the person to develop mentally, physically, and what? And spiritually. So there should be content, even if it is not written. There is content. People say, people act as others see. You can imagine that children keep silent, the babies, as you speak to them. Can I give you something to eat? And they cannot speak. But when you speak that and then you bring food, the following day, they expect food, though they cannot answer that bring it. That is actually content going to them, and the content is not written but audio, it is voiced. So when you bring, one time you stripe the baby with a little stick, the other day when you carry it, is expecting that, oh, here is going to strike me. Somehow you have, the child is getting educated through the content. Content is a combination, is a subject matter, which comes by what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what our senses can receive is what constitutes content. However, this content can also be documented by observation and creating procedures and processes, diagrams and animations and descriptions of scenarios, and it can be read in terms of text. So this is content. Content is the subject matter. What do you intend to person, and that is formed by curriculum. Curriculum, you have content. Which content is used in education? At the same time, when you have content and you receive other people, maybe you've seen people doing certain things and hey, there is also that other way. You come and build what? Content. By seeing that there is that other way, you have been educated. You get it? By those people. Then you come and build content so you can expand on curriculum. By education, you expand on curriculum. When you expand on curriculum, you broaden education. So they are actually, you cannot have education without curriculum, or have curriculum and say there is no education, because curriculum is not simply, like we mentioned, a document which the National Curriculum Development Center has come with. Even when that document is not there, will people die? Will they stop producing food? Will they stop knowing that here we need a road? They will continue doing their things. That curriculum is only constructed to align people, organize them, and bring uniformity in what people do, and also import and share what another person has is brought to you who don't know that it is there, so that you improve in what you do by content building. Then what we'll hear, what we call life experiences. Life experiences, as you move in the communities wherever you are, there are certain things you get exposed to. And then you say, even this one happened, is there. Apparently, you're adding to your content anyway, what you know. But because of exposure, when you get married to a wholesome husband and you've been there for 30 years, there are some experiences you learned of when to say, how to say. So when you find someone is struggling with the marriage of a wholesome husband, in 3 months wants to divorce, you can have certain things you can tell that person because of life experience that you would not know if you were not married to a wholesome husband. But because of your encounter in life, you have certain things to do what? To guide. Those are life experiences. So life experiences, they are like lessons which a person acquires without necessarily having deliberately prepared for them. When I was in my 15 years, I would not want to get close to dead people. I would stay distance. But until when dad was dying, I was nearby and they told me he has died. Then I felt bad. At this time, my brother dies when I'm having him. Then now I started thinking, when somebody dies, it doesn't kill you. Yes, you fear, but you don't die. You can even support the nurses to organize the body and take to the mortuary. Then now that environment has now got out of you by life experience. It is not a prepared lesson that now you come and see how a person dies and be bold. But it's an experience. Recently, when I was with my dad, my uncles, and they were always preparing how when someone dies, they are going to build a grave, the cement has got to be there, the mesh, the what, the builder has got to be sourced to make sure that sand is there and it is measured 3 by 7. It could be passive to me. And then cooking now. The people have got to be served. Where do we get food to cook? The tent, the what? Those events on a funeral. Now, for the last 4 years, I'm the one who they always wait for me when there is a funeral to give them the program. to, let me tell you, preparing a funeral, the person has died today, they are burying in the evening or tomorrow. That project, to handle it successfully, you must be a manager.
You must be a manager and a half.
A manager and a half. You set departments and each one has got to be autonomous with its leader, and so that the project runs successfully. But that one, even if one came and started teaching you there, you will not make sense unless you start to go there and say, hey, but you people, have we bought the ropes that they use to lower those things? We have forgotten the ropes, my dear, and they are taking the for laying it down. You see that you will never think about the ropes until you see it is very necessary, and then it comes to the mind by life experience. So those are lessons we encounter in life, and that's why in curriculum, when you say there is a need for something you don't know, always in the community, in the people around there, usually there is someone who knows it. You do not conclude and say, but I'm in a population of people who have not gone to school. When I look around, they don't even have a P7 certificate. So what? By life experience, they have acquired a certain curriculum and some form of education. They will explain to you something you will never even imagine. So, and that's how the food we eat today came to be. Someone ate it, let me wait and see whether the stomach pains. It has not pained. Let me eat again the following day and see whether I will be sick. Until they concluded that this is something we can eat without dying. Those that they died, they are now, we say, poisonous food. So, learning experiences. In learning experiences, these are experiences which we only receive when we interact and we are being taught by a subject matter expert. Of course, in learning experiences, someone can also teach you the life experience in it, using that content. So it's a combination. But learning experiences, who would know that the equation of a line is that, and that a curve is that, and that to find x, you have to say negative plus or negative d squared minus 4ac out of 2. And that to write high water, you write it like that. By life experience, it can be possible when you interact with someone, but the moment it is deliberately sought, it ceases to be a life experience, then we say it has been a learning experience. But if you find someone is writing water like that, you start to say this person has been taught in a school.
Yeah.
In a school.
Yeah.
Because it is a learning experience. By life experience, someone can repair a bicycle, but will not explain to you that when I repaired this dyno this way, because I saw that the number of turns of this coil were 17, yet they are supposed to be 20, and that brings a short circuit. One by life experience may not explain to you that the magnetic flux density was When someone starts to talk like that, then those are learning experiences other than life experiences. The one with life experiences will say, don't ask me much. Nze kindekere nkikole ki? Nkikole. Nga bwe nkitegeera. And we will do that. Omuzeeyi yali eyo ku kyalo agaba amakerenda agakweka eyo. Ate people run there to buy those tablets. Ate nga bawona. Naye because doesn't have learning experiences, hides them in the bedroom, and he is selling at the shop. When the patient comes, oyinayo ku Paynex, wammeka wa 1,500. Naye nga mutwe gwe gumuluma oba musujja. Then he goes, and in the village, people leave the clinic and go to that guy. By life experience, and maybe he has visited some hospitals and he saw them giving, so he has even received some learning experiences. Even the midwives of today, for them to do that so well, besides this documentation, they had to study those bamulerwa abo balina babeera mu lubiri bisumi babayita bani abazaana. How do you do it? When the child is coming, then they say that is 2 inches. Those are whatever. Then they write it down and come and say, now here is the lecture. But actually, they convert life experiences and create content, then make them learning experiences, and here we are. So now, this, when we are talking about all this, we conclude and say they are curriculum ingredients. But later on, these ones, at the time of transmission, they actually build a person to be educated. Because conclusively, you will see that education can also be defined as a process of transmitting the knowledge, values, and skills from one person to another. So that can be either by content, life experiences, or learning experiences. Because even learning life experiences can be between interpersonal, person to person, can also be from person to creation. You go there and you find a certain fruit, and then you start to identify what is in there. You find some soil and scoop it. What is this? What are these glittering stuff? Then you discover it is some kind of maybe a mineral by life experience. So that is a combination of curriculum. You cannot have curriculum without education, or education without curriculum. So then the quality of the curriculum will also tell you the quality of education you have. So if the curriculum is not good, education will obviously not be good. So when people point on education, you actually find the solution could be in curriculum. However, education is not entirely summarized by curriculum, because in education you look at curriculum itself, the methods of delivering the curriculum, and also the skills of the teacher who is using the methods to deliver the curriculum. Then the third aspect you look at is the language in which the curriculum is being used, is being instructed. That is the instructional language. So when you're talking about methods of delivering the curriculum, you cannot leave around the materials, or when you talk about curriculum, you can't leave around the materials required to complement it. to the materials such as textbooks, such as videos, such as resource persons, and so that it is actually delivered. Now, in